This free AI presentation maker will save you weeks of irritating extra work because it can write your presentation content, automatically design in beautiful themes, create realistic AI images, show notes while presenting, and a lot more. What's even more shocking is that you can use this same free tool to make no-code websites and online documents. Make sure you take notes because top 20 students who share their learnings will win a certificate of achievement. So without further ado, let's get started. This free tool is called Gamma, and honestly, I have never seen a presentation tool this simple and powerful. But what makes Gamma so different from a tool like Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Slides? Let me show you how it works. So we'll create a presentation on how UX designers can leverage AI in their careers. I'm not gonna write, edit or design. And in just 20 seconds, you will see Gamma create the entire deck like magic. And you can do this for your office presentations, school assignments, college submissions, and freelancing proposals. It can work on any laptop or PC because it runs online and not locally on your workstation. So to create your free account, go to gamma.app. As soon as you log in, you'll see your workspace. And this is where you can access all of your files. Now this tool can make 3 different things: presentations, no-code websites, and documents. And all of these things are called Gammas in this tool. To start, I will click on Create New with AI. Gamma will show me 3 ways to make a presentation. I can either choose my own content, which can be simple text notes, PDF, or a document, or I don't even need to have any content or document to start with. I can just ask AI to generate all of my content and images from scratch. Or my third option is that I can paste a link to a website or a document or a slide and then ask Gamma to just mix and match to create a new presentation. This is extremely useful for college students who want to make a deck on a specific topic or on a specific website. Now let's assume I don't have any content, so I will simply click on Generate. Now this tutorial is split into 3 modules. I will explain how to generate your presentation, how to edit it and make it look fancy, and in the end, how to present it with notes and spotlight effects. Let's start with module number 1. Alright, so here we are in the dashboard. I am currently logged in, and if I click on Gammas, this is where you can see all of my Gammas. Now, before we start something, I want you to quickly understand the difference between a website, a presentation, and an online document. A website is something that can have a lot of buttons and dynamic content, whereas a presentation is something that you have to present yourself either through an online link or maybe on the projector. And the third thing, which is an online document, is basically a proposal that is shared as a link. So even after you have shared the link to a separate person, you can still make changes to the document. The document itself can look really fancy and not like a boring PDF. Now to get started with our first presentation, I will click on Create New AI. Now with Create with AI, I get 3 options. I can either paste some text, it could be an outline or some notes that I've taken in my classroom, or I can simply paste a URL, could be a URL of a website or any existing presentation or even a basic document. But I want to start something from just a prompt and use AI for it. So I will click on Generate. As soon as I do that, it will ask me what would I want to create, a presentation or a no-code website or an online document, which is great for ebooks and just PDFs in general. Here I have an option to choose the number of cards I will have. So these are slides, right? A lot of you would know these as the word slides. But here calling them cards is way more valuable because these cards are dynamic. Now, what do I mean by that? The height of these cards can increase, the size and dimensions of these cards can increase. So they are way more powerful than just slides where the size is always limited. There are a bunch of constraints that really limit your creativity. So here I will choose, say, 9 cards. Here I can choose my language as well. And by the way, they have a lot of languages, including Marathi and Hindi and Gujarati and a lot of other Indian languages in case you want to make something regional. So I will simply say a detailed proposal on how UX designers can leverage AI in day-to-day work. And I will simply click on Generate Outline. Now, the way a presentation works is that you first decide what content will come on each of your cards and in what order will your content come. So in this specific example, in less than 2 to 3 seconds, I was able to create the headlines. Now I have an option to rearrange them. So maybe instead of incorporating AI into design processes, maybe I can have automatic repetitive tasks come on the top. So you can basically either delete something, or you can rearrange them, or you can also add one more card in the middle, or you can also change your content here. So you can instantly see that this is your overall headings. Now in my settings, I can now decide the kind of content I will have for each of these headlines. So this is my outline. But now I have an option to decide, should I have brief content, which means short sentences, or do I want medium level of content where I have small paragraphs, or I want a detailed level of content for each of these cards. Let's assume I want something very detailed. My second option is now to choose the image source. Now you can either get images from the internet that will not be AI generated, or you can simply create every image from AI, or you can let Gamma decide which image would be best suitable, because sometimes some images are readily available on the internet and some images are not, and in only those cases you should use AI for it. Now if I click on advanced mode, this is where the entire prompt editor opens up. So I can simply say that I am writing this for a specific set of people. So I can choose my target audience and be very specific about the tone, who I'm targeting, and a bunch of different things. Now, if you want to edit this, completely okay. Otherwise, you can always go ahead with the default options. So I will simply click on continue, and this will exhaust 40 credits. So as you can see in that 40 symbol, you can actually see how many credits you will exhaust on the free plan. Now, as soon as I'm done selecting my content, Gamma is now asking me to pick a theme. And as you can see, a bunch of amazing themes. If I were to click on any of these, you'll see what kind of, a vibe this would create. So you can see the primary button, the secondary button. Maybe I want to have something which has a glow theme to it, because it's a futuristic topic. And all of these themes are ready-made. So you can either search for it, you can go through all of these filters, you can shuffle it as well. Let's just say I really like this theme. I will simply click on generate. As soon as I do that, you will see Gamma do its magic. It is absolutely incredible how crazy this thing can be. So I am not going to edit this at all, because I want you to see how efficient and how crazy this is. Imagine the amount of effort it would have taken you to do something like this. Imagine the amount of time you can save if you were to paste your company's document or your school assignment into this app and let Gamma, generate the entire deck all for free. Now let me show you. Let me just quickly scroll up to the top. And this is where I will also teach you how to intelligently use AI when you're making your decks, right? Because it's not that simple that I can just make this presentation and now I'm done with it. There's a bunch of small things and nuances that you need to keep in mind. And we will discuss all of it one by one. So just to give you a quick overview, we have all of our slides here. On the left, I can see a film strip view of all of my cards, and notice how some cards are taller and some cards are shorter. It usually depends on the kind of content you have. I can edit anything I want. If I click on this icon, I will be able to paraphrase it or rewrite it, and there's a bunch of things that you can customize. But this was a quick overview of how you can select the right topic, how you can select the right target audience, decide the level of content you want, and also decide what kind of images you want to create. With that, we finished module number 1. Now we will move on to module number 2, where I will teach you how to edit your entire presentation using AI. So the first thing you need to understand is the entire user interface. So let's break this down one by one. On the top left corner, we have the home button. Here I have the name of my presentation. I can simply double click on it to rename it. This entire view, this column right here, allows me to see my presentation in a quick view. So this thing right here is called a film strip view. I can also switch to my list view, where I can save a lot of space, just in case you don't want a lot of vertical space being hidden. I can come back to my film strip. On the top right corner, we have our theme section, and this is where the entire process becomes very seamless. So I can either select a pre-created theme in the Gamma, or I can also create my own themes. Theme generation itself is a subject so exciting and so deep that we can have a dedicated video on that as well. But as a beginner, I think just using a pre-made theme will save you a lot of time, and you can see how quick it is, right? The entire theme just instantly changes in just a single click. So if I were to go here, maybe I want to have something professional, maybe I can choose terracotta, which is one of my most, favorite themes in place. It's just very, very seamless. You can also search through something, and overall, I feel like doing all of these changes earlier used to take so much of time, but now with just a single click, you have all of these vibes at your disposal. Now, as I told you, this thing right here is not a slide, it's a card. So let me show you what all you can edit within a card. Firstly, if you look at this kebab menu, you can either duplicate this card, you can copy a link to this specific card in case you want to share it with someone, or you can export this specific card as a PNG. So you can just download this and send this to anybody. In your PNG, you will only have the areas that are inside this boundary. So if I were to open this right here, let me show you what you get. This is the image that you would have, extremely crisp, extremely high resolution, and you can also copy it. So it's just extremely useful. Then here we have card styling. So in my card styling, the first thing that I can edit is my layout. So by default, I have a left layout, but I can choose a right layout, a background layout where, you will have to put an image. Already there is an image, so it has sort of stretched it to fit the width. It has also reduced the opacity to maintain my legibility. I can have a top layout. I can also just remove the layout itself. Now, once you have chosen a specific layout, let's just say I've chosen a left layout, you can change the accent image. So this thing right here is called an accent image. If I click on edit, the right side panel will open up where I can choose my own media, or I can prompt for a specific image. So let's just say I want to show a team working on a mood board for an app, right? And if I click on enhance prompt, it will actually take my basic prompt and then use really good vocabulary to sort of make the image more exciting, right? And then all I need to do is choose my model and the aspect ratio. So Flux right now is a pretty good model, Flux Fast. I'm not sure if you folks have been following the entire AI image generation space, but if you're on the Pro model, the Flux Pro 1.1 is even better. Now, once I click on generate, you will have Gamma create every single asset inside the tool itself in such a seamless way. And it also gives me 3 different options. So I can either choose this or this, and you can see how magical this is, right? You can download this image, you can zoom in, you can remove from history. If you don't want AI images, you can upload your own images, get something from Unsplash. You can also use a solid color gradient. The options are simply endless. And let me know in the comment section if you find this extremely useful, because when I saw this demo, I was simply amazed, because right now I can vouch for a fact that there are thousands of students, thousands of professionals spending at least 30 to 40 minutes every time they make a presentation just fixing all of these things, right? So imagine the kind of power you can have. So in my card styling, I can change the accent image, I can change the card color. So by default, because I've chosen a specific theme, it is white, but I can always, choose a different theme color. And Gamma is so intelligent that it would automatically change my colors for the text. So it is smart enough to change the contrast and keep things legible, which is absolutely amazing. You can have top aligned content, centrally aligned, but right now it's all sort of all tight. If I disable white content, you can see that my width would become uniform, but I sort of want my white content. If you want to reset everything, you can always go here. If I go to my page setup, this is where things become even more interesting. So you see this card size right here? This is fluid right now, which means that if I add more content, it would increase. But if I were to set maybe a 16:9 deck, if I'm in my office and if I have to present this on my TV, I can't have my card size as fluid, right? Because I know that my TV is going to be 16:9. Or if I'm giving a presentation in my school auditorium or in my college auditorium, the size has to be 16:9. If it's a presentation that you want to make, or maybe it's a deck, or maybe it's a proposal, you can always choose A4, and it would automatically make sure that, things are doing well. I have chosen a landscape A4. That is why this looks like this. So if I were to choose portrait, it would sort of leave a lot of empty space, which is kind of obvious because there's not enough content. I always keep it on fluid. because I sort of present these slides online. So I will show you how you can present these things. If I enable full bleed cards, it would become like this seamless presentation where you don't even see the boundaries. If you enable show card backdrops, you will be able to include these page background presets at the very back. We will check out these features later on, because right now you can see like a simple gray color, but with card backdrops you can also customize that. Animations, you should always have them on. If I go to my background, I can choose something pretty basic in my page setup itself, so now that would be visible throughout. This is a low resolution image, so you can always go and maybe go to something like a solid color and maybe make an interesting color option, so it just looks more pretty. And if I go to preview, you can actually see how this would look if I were to share a link on WhatsApp, right? So you can remove the gamma branding if you're on the pro plan, but overall I think this is extremely useful. I personally pay a lot of attention to these small things, and editing all of this is so simple that it's just supremely seamless. And you can also add notes. We will cover this in module number 3, but just to make a quick summary, you can change any text, and just like a normal text editor, you can switch between different kinds of headlines, different text colors. You can add formatting. I don't have to go through any of this. You can also select any of this text and choose this option right here, which is called edit with AI, to make it more engaging or expand it. So let's just say you want more content, right? So you'll have this chatbot open right here. I was using this feature on the same presentation, so it would say that here's an expanded version with multiple paragraphs, suggested or original. So you can basically just expand it and see how that content would look. So you don't have to pay for ChatGPT or Claude or any of those tools. It's all available in-house. If I hover between any of these slides, I can add a blank card and I can generate, let's just say, why is this important, right? And if I press slash, I can basically access all of these shortcuts right here. So as you can see, I can import an image, a URL, a bunch of different things. There's this thing called a monster title as well. Hello, which is like a huge title. If I go slash, if I go to the very bottom, you can see there's a bunch of things that you can do. You can also put in your Loom recordings, YouTube videos, whatever it may be, because it's a proper dynamic card, right? So if I were to just add some kind of a text, right? So let's just say I write expand on why AI is important for UX, right? And I can simply select all of these things and go here and expand text. Again, I don't have to go through the entire hassle of writing my own content. So let's see how this works. And it has already suggested. And I know that it's pretty long, but I can always make it concise. And that is the beauty of this entire tool. Another cool thing is that if I click on this chevron right here, you will have a bunch of templates that are ready to use. So you have a basic blank card, which comes by default, but then you have something with 4 columns. You also have something which can have, say, a title with bullets. So, it's just a bunch of ready-made templates that you can add, right? So I can simply say, write content on types of UX designers, right? And that's just a simple prompt, and boom, it's just done, right? It is so insane. So this was my original, this was my suggestion. I can click on done editing, and then I can just keep on adding more and more things. And they have a bunch of different templates to work with. Something that has always bothered me is that I have been very annoyed with the way graphs work in all of these other presentation tools. But let me show you how seamless it is here. So if I choose a basic chart, right, it opens up this Excel sheet sort of a thing where I can just change all of my content. And if I make this into, say, 10, it would just automatically make it dynamic, right? So I can convert it into a pie chart, a donut chart, a line chart, a column chart. It's just so seamless. I can switch between, different color schemes. And as soon as I'm done with that, my graph is ready. So it's overall, it's not very technical. You don't have to be a maths genius, and they just have too many templates to pick from. So whatever I showed you in this card is also accessible from this menu right here. So you have all of your card templates available. You have a lot of smart layouts. So let's just say I add a new blank card, right? I'll go to my smart layouts, and maybe I want to have like a pyramid layout sort of a thing, right? So all of my templates are already set. I can also go to maybe like a smart bullet point sort of a thing. Maybe add some more content, Let's go to smart layouts again, maybe add my team photos. It already adds a bunch of cool people in the photo placeholder itself, including Nikola Tesla, which is very interesting. But yeah, once you're done with your smart layouts, then you have your basic blocks. So whatever I showed you in the slash shortcut, all of these things are well organized here. You can also have call out boxes, which means that, let's just say I put a success box right here. So I can simply say this is important. So these are all of these different kinds of call outs. If I were to click on this, I can choose between different styles. So it can either be a note, a warning, all of these features are available in other documentation tools as well. And the crazy part is that this can either become a presentation or even a website or even a cloud document. So it's all available on the cloud. If I click on images, as I said, you can include either images or videos. You can embed your content, embed apps and web pages. This is a shortcut for your diagrams and pie charts. And you can also have buttons, right? So if I were to take this button and keep it here, I can paste a link and just keep it in the center, right? Which is really, really interesting. You can have secondary buttons, primary buttons. So if you want to have a proposal where you're like, hey, click on this video, maybe, register for this event, you can do all of that very, very easily. Because if you think about it, this is how a website looks like. Like, I'm so shocked. For a very long time, I used to consider a website, a landing page, a presentation, and a document different from each other, right? And then we saw this new wave of tools where they were using online cloud documents as websites. But now with Gamma, they are erasing the lines between a cloud presentation, a cloud-based website. I mean, a website is cloud-based, but a cloud-based document, right? And it's become supremely easy to make all of these things. So just to revise, in module 2, I showed you how to add text, basic blocks, how you can navigate through your entire presentation, basics of creating graphs, using AI to make your content, adding new cards, rearranging them, basically customization. But in module 3, I'll teach you how exactly do you even present this entire thing, right? How do you share it with your friends? How do you bring in your team members and a lot more? So without wasting any further time, let's move on to module number 3. So once you're done with your entire presentation, on the top right corner, you have this button that says share. Now let me break this entire window down one by one. On the very top is the title of my presentation. Here I have my first option to collaborate, which means I can add email IDs or different people in my team. Now in my workspace, there are no members, so nobody has any access, but basically you can add people and then they can come and edit this presentation with you. Now, if I click on publish to site, you can basically take this entire presentation and convert it into a free website. You don't have to buy the domain. You don't have to do anything at all. So this becomes my URL. So I can literally click on this and you can see that there's nothing there yet because I have not published it. So let me just click on publish site because my site is enabled, but I still have to publish it. Once I do that, anybody can literally refresh this link and get access to my entire presentation. And the fun part is that all of it is responsive. So it would open up on their phones, on their laptops, and it's just extremely cool. Now you can also have your own personal custom domain. So if you've already bought your own domain, or if you want to get something which is very, very customized, you can just upgrade to their pro plan starting from 750 rupees per month. Now, if I go to my settings, I can change the site name, the fav icon, which is like this small icon that you see on your tab. You can have a nav bar or you don't want a nav bar. You can also add a Google tag manager. Basically, this tag manager allows you to track the analytics using Google Analytics, right? So it's slightly like an advanced feature, but let me just come back to the share option again, right? Now, if I go to export, I can export this as a PDF or as a PowerPoint in case your office team members want to edit the same thing on PowerPoint, or export as PNGs. Sometimes when you export your presentation to a PowerPoint, and if another computer opens up the PowerPoint presentation, the fonts might get mixed up. So Gamma is very smart. They have already listed down the fonts that that person would have to download to make sure that, things are not messed up. So that was there. And then here we have our publish button. So right now it says your site is up to date. You can either publish it to a domain, you can either add your custom domain, or you can just preview it, right? So once you preview it, you'll be able to see how it looks on a desktop or a tablet or a mobile view. Overall, it's just extremely seamless. Now you can just have some basic options like undoing something or version history or even present. Now present is one of my most favorite features, because if I click on this right here, you would see that I enter this very interesting presentation mode where I have all of my animations sorted. So I have all of these things being fading in one by one. I didn't have to put these things on my own, so it's just so seamless, because usually you will have to add animations and fading and all of those things, right? But here in my present mode, I can just do all of it very, very seamlessly. If I click on logos and colors, as I told you, sometimes you have your own brand guidelines, your own brand logo, so you can always build your own theme, which makes life very, very easy. So you just put in your content, tell Gamma that this is for this XYZ company in this specific branding, and everything will happen in just a second. So it's just extremely cool. Now, another thing I wanted to show is the notes feature. So let's just say I want to present this and it's an important presentation. I want to create some notes for it, right? So I can simply click on generate, or I can write my own notes. So these will become my own notes. And for every presentation, you can have different notes, right? So what I can do is I can publish all of these changes on the website. For a website, you don't need any notes, right? But if I'm presenting this to somebody, right? If I'm actually creating a proper deck out of this, in that case, I need to read my notes while I'm presenting. So these guys have actually created a presenter view. Let me show you how to get that. So to demo the presenter view, I had to open another Gamma, because it would not work if you have published your entire Gamma as a website. But this was another presentation that I had made, right? So let's just say I want to have some notes. These are all of my notes available at this single place. I can simply go here and then click on presenter view. So this is a presentation. Now what will happen is that when I'm screen sharing, I simply have to screen share this tab, okay? And then what I will do is I will have my presenter view right in front of me. And then as soon as I click on start timer, I will be able to see the amount of time I spend on each slide. So when I'm presenting, everybody on the call will see the tab behind this, okay? But here on my screen, I will be able to change my slides and see all of my notes one by one, which is very, very cool. Now, another crazy thing is that you can copy a link and then share with as many people as you want, and you can have all of these shortcuts available. And at any point, you will be able to say everything important that you had in your notes without missing anything. So if I go here, there's this one more option that says Spotlight. Now, this personally is a game changer. I have not seen this feature at all. Right now, I put in so much of extra effort to create this effect in the traditional presentation tool. So I would, put an opacity filter and, change the slides one by one. But the Spotlight mode basically allows you to focus on one thing at a time. So if I move my keyboards, like I'm pressing my key right now, I'm able to navigate through all of these things one by one. So it does not throw a lot of information instantly on the audience. You can simply move through your content very, very seamlessly. And look at the animations. Everything seems so sorted. Now, of course, on the right side, as you can see, the image does not make sense. And in those cases, you can always choose something from the internet. But the point is, imagine how powerful this can be for a student who's running out of time, or a professional who has a presentation due. Now, I'm not saying that you can just take this presentation and go ahead with it, right? As I keep saying in all of my masterclasses, you need to use AI as your muse, as your inspiration, as your starting point. You have to use AI for your first draft and not your final draft. If you start using this as your brain's replacement, then of course you will get some short-term benefits, but in the longer run, you will slip. It will have a negative impact on you if you just blindly use this and just go ahead with it. But a smart person who knows what she's doing, her brain coupled with something like Gamma can completely change the game. Everybody in your school and college and company is going to be like, how does she even come up with such great looking presentations in such less amount of time? And it can be very, very specific, because right now I'm using a random AI to create all of the content, but you can just copy paste any of your current documents, or you can paste a link of your existing presentation that does not look very good and have Gamma redesign it completely. And by the way, if I go to my share option right here, you can see that this is exported as a website. But if I were to go back, let's just say I go to this presentation right here, I can take this presentation and actually embed it on a website. So if I go to the embed option, this is an iframe that can be put on any website you want. You can share this link with anybody you want. You can have them comment on it. You can have them edit it, or you can just, click on no access as well in case you're making any changes. If you click on view analytics, this is something which is slightly advanced, so we won't cover this in this video. But basically you can check out the level of engagement, the attendance that your presentation would have. So for every single card, Gamma will show you the average time spent on all cards. If you share this deck with any people, you will be able to see every small metric. So you will be able to see analytics for every individual viewer and collaborator. And personally, I have not seen a tool that can do all of this so seamlessly. I know that I've just been complimenting this tool again and again. This is a sponsored video, but I said yes to these people because I genuinely believe in the power of this tool. I saw this tool around a year back. At that time also it was a pretty good tool, but now they've just completely changed the game. So yes, I would recommend you folks to check this out. If you share a follow link, this is one last feature that I wanted to show you. If you share this follow link, as you change the presentation, they will also be able to see your slides changing. So it's almost like streaming your presentation, right? So if I click on start presenting, anybody who's on this link will see me changing the presentations in real time. So it's all happening online, and it's extremely cool. Now that you know how Gamma works, you can submit your homework to win a printed certificate of achievement. You need to complete 4 steps. Like this video and comment below how this video helped you make a good presentation. Go to the link in my description and create your Gamma account. Pick any topic of your choice and make a Gamma presentation. Export it as a PDF and email it to us on talent@anshmehra.com. Make sure you add your full name, your address, phone number, and LinkedIn profile. Make sure you write Gamma giveaway in the subject of your email to us, otherwise it becomes very difficult to track your work. Bonus points if you post your learnings from this video on LinkedIn or Instagram and tag me. Let me know in the comments if you want a detailed course on making portfolios, proposals, and no-code websites using Gamma. We've just launched a Hindi YouTube channel called The Playbook, where you can learn how to improve your thinking and personality with practical lessons and detailed case studies based on top entrepreneurs and titans. Here is the trailer. तो चलिए पहला चैप्टर शुरू करते हैं. If you're here for the first time, let me remind you that you can also learn the basics of artificial intelligence and high-paying tech skills like user experience design without paying anything from our free learning platforms howtoprompt.in and learnUIUX.in. If you want us to train your company on latest AI tools and productivity, then send us an email on admin@anshmehra.com with your requirements. We've been consulting and training businesses all around the world. With that being said, I hope that you're taking care of your mind and body. This is your dost Ansh Mehra signing out.